Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel on Advanced Excel. In today's video, I am going to share 4 tricks in Excel which will save you a hell lot of time. Okay, so today's video is not going to be about any specific function. We are going to see these 4 time saving tricks. Okay, so let's begin with the video. So here is a database. Okay. Of say salesperson, product, amount and date. Okay, now you can very well see that these rows are blank basically. Okay, assume this to be a sales report which you have downloaded from your operational software, and it's like something like this. When this record says A, then he has sold cap, amount is there, and date. Whenever there are blank rows, those blank rows are basically pertaining to this same A salesperson and the product cap. Okay, so only when there is a change in this product, say here he has sold bats, so then the new record is beginning. But again, all these blank rows, it pertains to salesperson A selling bats. Okay, so we want to fill this data. Okay, so if you have to do it manually, this is how we would do. Control V, again Control V, again Control V, isn't it? But imagine this data to be of say 80,000 rows. Okay, it will take you a hell lot of time, and I am very sure you will be sitting in the office till your next birthday, isn't it? So to do away with this, there is this trick that we are going to use. And basically this trick is based on something called as a relative cell reference. Okay, and here I have given what is that relative cell reference. It says that while dealing with a spreadsheet formula or data, relative cell reference means default behavior of a formula or default behavior of a formula or default result of the cell reference. Okay, so to do this fill data, first I'll press Ctrl A. Just be in the database anywhere where there is a where you have continuous values. Okay, so I'll say Ctrl A, Ctrl G, that is go to. I'll say again Alt S for going to special, and then here I'll click blank. Okay, I'll click OK. Now it is the cursor is in cell C5, which is the first blank cell in this particular table, isn't it? I am hitting F2. I'll say is equal to A, and I'll press Control Enter. Did you see? So with this trick you can fill data, but the only thing you have to remember is that whenever you are choosing this table, you have to put your cursor in the column where the data is a continuous. Okay, let me show it to once again. Okay, I am here. I'll select I'll press Ctrl A, Ctrl G, Alt S, Alt K for blanks, hit enter. Okay, now after hitting enter, my cursor is in this first blank cell. So I'll say F2, that is in edit mode, is equal to this cell, and Control Enter. Okay, so this is the first trick where you can fill a missing data using relative cell reference feature of Excel. Now let's come to the second trick. It is about adding rows after each and every record. Okay, suppose this is my database, and I want to add 2 rows or say 1 row after each and every record. So what is the trick? I'll insert a column. Let's just call it as serial number, and I'll say 1, 2, 3, and let's do fill series first of all. Okay, then I'll select this again, Control C, Control V. Okay, and now I'll select this entire thing up to D. My database is up to D, and we'll sort this. Sort by, we'll say serial number and smallest to largest, and okay, and then I'll say filter, and we'll say blanks. Okay, alt semicolon and delete. It's done. Did you see? So with this sort you can actually insert rows. If you have to insert rows, insert two rows between the records, then you have to copy this series 2 times. If you want to insert 3 rows, copy this 3 times. Okay, so I'll again say Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Okay, now we are here we are. So let me just do once again Control. Yeah, there it is. Now suppose if I want to insert 2 rows between each record, then I'll say 1, 2. I'll double click. Okay, and Control C, Control V. This is the first time I am copying this, and again Control V. Second time I am copying, and select the data. Alt DS. Sort by serial number. Done. So this is the second trick by which you can add n number of rows you want to do between the records. Now coming to the third one, it is transpose. Okay, usually if you have to transpose a data, this is data of say city and sales. What we do is we select, we say Control C, then we come here. Then either we right click or you can press Control Alt V. Okay, and we say transpose and we click OK, isn't it? But suppose if I change value here, I am making this value of D to be 25. This same is not getting reflected. Okay, so if we want something by which this transpose data can be made volatile, isn't it? So what is the trick in that? So there is a function in Excel and it is transpose, and it's an array function. Okay, so transpose, we'll choose. See, it is asking for array. It's an array function. Okay, now first of all, as I have said, in array function you have to choose the array first and then hit F2 is equal to transpose time. You select the data and then Control Shift Enter. There it is. Okay, now if you change value of D from 4 to 25, it will capture that value. Okay, but the problem with any array function is that you can't delete a single cell. See, you cannot change a part of an array, so you will have to like delete it every time you are making any changes. You will have to do it all over again. Okay, so this is not of that use. Okay, now second way of doing it is, now this if we want city, that is cell A2 here, isn't it? So I'll just prefix it with something else, LM, and I'll say A2, and here LM B2, isn't it? And now we'll drag it. Okay, so it is giving me consecutive this one number of cell references, and having done that, Control F, find LM and replace with is equal to, and Control A. Done. Now this one is in this date format, but you can change it if you want. Change it to general and it will come. Okay, even here also if you are making any changes, making it 100, it will capture. Okay, but problem with this one, two, rather this using conventional page special, then using transpose with array, and using cell reference and find replace. Problem is that if suppose if you add any record here, it will not take its effect. Okay, so if I add here, say I am adding E and say 30. Okay, let's give it a border. okay, then it's not going to have an impact over here. It's not getting, values are not getting changed. Okay, so as such these three approaches are of no use. Okay, so I'll just delete it for the time being. So we are going to use now third approach we'll use offset and with columns and rows, but it is little complicated or tricky thing, but you'll get hang of things once we do that evaluation of formula. So I'll say is equal to offset tab. My starting point is going to be this. I'll hit F4. Now comma. Now when it is asking for rows, that is how many rows you want to go down or up, then when it is asking for rows, I am going to use columns function. Okay, because we are doing transpose, so things which are appearing in this A column, they will appear, they have to appear horizontally. So also in this B column, all these values have to appear horizontally, isn't it? So when it is asking for rows, I will say columns tab, and just click here. Okay, and we'll freeze the columns. So I'll shift 4. Okay, come to the last, and when it is asking for columns, I am using rows function. Tab, go here, and we'll freeze the row. Okay, okay, and now it is asking for height and width, but it's an basically only when you want to deal with array you can use this height and width, and you can very well see this height and width, it is surrounded by this rectangular bracket. So this argument is optional, you can do away with it. So I'll close the bracket and enter. It is giving me sales, but it's okay. Let me just tweak this a little, -1 city, and let's use relative cell reference feature of Excel. I am in 821 cell, hitting F2, control enter. There it is. And the beauty about this offset is, now let me show you, E. Okay, suppose if I copy it, there it is. Did you see? So even when you are adding a record, that function is taking good care of such situations. But in earlier approaches, where we use this cell reference and find replace, or a transpose with array, or a conventional paste special transpose, it was not happening, isn't it? So this is one approach. Now another approach is using index and column. Okay, and we'll go with the same analogy. Okay, so is equal to index tab, array is going to be this, because our values are in this particular table array. I'll hit F4, comma. Again here, when it is asking for rows, I'll use columns function. I click here. Okay, and because it's a column, I am going to freeze this A2. Okay, hit F4, and when it is asking for columns, I am using row function, just as we did in offset. So I'll say this, click here, come here, and we'll hit F4 and enter. Okay, now again we'll not copy it, we'll use our trick of relative cell reference. Hit F2 and control enter. There it is. Okay, and here also if you copy this to the next, it should give us that E value also. There it is. Okay, so this is the fourth approach for transposing any database. And last is using array. But when you are using array, again as I said, you have to select the range first, then I'll go here, is equal to, I'll give this curly brackets. Now first is city, then it's A, B, C, D, and then say semicolon. In the next row the record is sales, and then it is, what is it, 100, 2, 3 and 25, and curly brackets closed, Control Shift Enter. Okay, so these are the 5 approaches by which you can transpose a database, and at the same time not just transport in all this except for this, in all other approaches, this offset and index and using array, we have not done paste special value. Okay, so anytime you are making changes, the changes are getting reflected in the your transport database also. So this is the trick. And the fourth trick that I am going to show you is sorting columns, that is sorting from left to right. Okay, so let's see. Okay, this is the database, and it's a salary register, and it has got around 30 columns. But basically what we want is, we want this this columns in a particular order. Okay, whenever we say sort in relation to Excel, basically we sort the data which is contained in the rows, isn't it? But if you want to sort the column, that is from left to right, say you want this branch column to be first, or say cost this department to be next, then cost center column to be third, then you can't sort, isn't it? Because majorly in 99.99% cases, whenever we do sort, it is sorting of database which is contained in the rows, not in the columns, isn't it? So suppose this is the salary register, and you are processing the salary, and after the salary is processed, every month you have to give say financial team something called as a tagging report, and they want it in a specific format. So here is the format which they have. Okay, so they want say cost center column to be first, branch to be second, department to be third, then actual basic, actual HRA, conveyance, actual special allowance till salary advance. Okay, so this is the exact order which they have given it to you, and they want a database to be in this particular order only. Okay, the columns have to be in this order. So when we mostly what we do is, if we have to do this manually, this is how we do. So what is that? Cost center, branch, department, actual. Okay, so manual. So basically this we don't want, so we designation, we delete this. Then cost center is the first, we say Control X, and we say insert copied cell. Then what? Sorry. Then we want branch department, so branch department. Then we don't want this again, we also don't want this, so we delete this. Okay, so this is how we do, isn't it? But now this register is having only say 30 columns. You can do it in manual basis also. But what if your salary register or your database runs into let's say 100 columns? Then what would you do? So to come out of this, and to be able to sort this data from left to right, we are going to use two approaches. First is using HLOOKUP. So I'll say is equal to HLOOKUP, lookup for this, comma, this is my master data, isn't it? I'll hit F4. Okay, HLOOKUP asked for row index number, so I'll hit 2, and it has to be exact match, so I'll hit 0 and enter. It is giving me NA because the master data does not have employee code and name. Accounts people don't want it. So to get rid of this NA, I'll hit F2 again, come here, and I'll say if error, I have explained this if error in my previous video also. If error tab. Okay, so if the result of this function is error, then please return, I'll say 99. Okay, so when we'll do sort, all these columns will be thrown to the extreme right, isn't it? Enter, Control C, Control Shift left arrow and enter. Okay, now we'll say, so basically this 99, wherever you are seeing this 99, we don't want this column at all. So I'll select this row and we'll do paste special value because we are going to sort this. And again select this Alt DS for sorting. I'll say options or Alt-O, then sort left to right. I'll say Alt L. Okay, sort by, and because it is from left to right, now it is asking for the row number, so I'll say row number is 1 and enter. Okay, so see, now these columns are in exact and perfect order the finite department wants you to do, and then simply delete it, delete these columns where we have given this 99. Okay, so this is how you can sort columns from left to right, but there is one more approach using match. So using match, so I'll say is equal to match what? This header row or column heading. Again I'll come here. Okay, this is the order in which finance wants you to give the data. Hit F4, comma, and it has to be exact match, so I'll say 0. Match is also lookup function, we all are aware. Again it will give us NA because employee code column finance don't want it itself, isn't it? So again we'll prefix it with if error tab. So if result of this function is error, then please return 99. Control C, Control Shift left arrow, enter. Okay, again Control C, we'll do paste special value because we are going to sort them. And now same trick, select the data, Alt DS for sorting, option, Alt-O, Alt L for sorting left to right, tab, enter, tab, row number is 1, tab, and enter. Okay, adjust the column width and delete these columns which they don't want. Okay, and once having done that, you can just delete this row also, no need, isn't it? So this is how you can use these tricks to make your life very easy in your corporate life. Okay, I hope you people must have liked this video very much. I want you to give me a thumbs up, and if you have any suggestions, please leave a comment. Bye.